boys are going to bring the heat today.
As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys. All right, we're alive. Crunch Time Sports. It is a Thursday, March 5th. Again, the week of Boone, I guess. I guess that's what we're rolling with here. We're live. I know it's a little later. Hold on. This is loud. All right, we're good. Headset. All I could hear was just the music. We're live though. A lot of news today that happened throughout the NFL. Again, no Lions news yet. No restructures. Nothing like that. Either way, though, we have an absolutely packed show for you. Got a bunch of guests coming on throughout the show here. Let me just shut that off. We don't need that right now. Packed show. I was just listening to the doc too, by the way. There's some things that the doc talked about that I actually already planned on talking about free agent wise. I know the Cam Jordan thing, not returning to the Saints. It sounds like they're not bringing Cam Jordan back. And Doc said there's no way that the Lions should bring him in. Listen, I have, whether you agree with the doc or not, I do have some different things about Cam Jordan I think maybe some people might like a little bit. Nick P said, I feel like the restructures aren't coming. Nick P, I'm going to tell you this real quick. I was thinking about this on my drive home. There are restructures coming. I don't think the Lions have a choice. They have to, they're I don't know what it is, 4 to 10 million or 5 to 10 million under the cap space currently right now. You have to, at the start of the league year, I believe you have to be over the cap. You cannot be under the cap. So you have to do something, whether that's Amon-Ra's deal, Panay's deal, Jared's deal, or you have to cut some people or trade some people. There has to be some movement with the Lions before free agency, so they know how much money they can spend, and two, you have to get over the cap. You can't be negative. And right now they're negative. So there has to be something that gets done. And I would think think about it like this as well. You're negative money in cap space, right? You still have guys on your team that you have to re-sign as well. Like a Roy Lopez or a Rocky Sin. Like there are a handful of guys. You will not go into free agency and sign 0 people, with including, your own players. Like you won't. You have to re-sign. You have to have a football team to throw on the field. So they are going to have money. You cannot go into this thing with no money. So there are restructures. It's just going to take time. Listen, there are other teams who haven't restructured yet. The Cowboys just restructured yesterday. Today, there was a couple teams that restructured a few deals. I could bet you as well we might be live on here at some point in these next 2 hours, and there might be restructures here in the next 2 hours while we're actually live. So just keep an eye out on that, and we'll see what happens. By the way, let me go here, retweet the show tweet here so we can get that pushed out there a little bit. But we do have a packed show. 8:30, Scott Bischoff's going to join the show. Obviously, talk a little NFL draft prospects, different things for the Lions, what we like. Post-combine, it's the first time we've had Scott on post-combine. So we're going to be able to get a lot of good thoughts from Scott on that. I have a special guest at 9 o'clock. Booked him yesterday. Text and confirmed today. Let me do this real quick. So this special guest has it. I'm going to send a link right now to the special guest. 9 p.m. It's one of the bigger special guests I think I've ever had, especially doing a solo show. It's a massive guest. And then at 9:30 tonight, we're going to have Raj hop on the show. We talk a little Tigers. There's been a lot of things going on with the Tigers as well. So we have a little Tigers in the show tonight as well. I know the trade deadline for the Wings is tomorrow, so maybe we'll try and get Gentry or someone on with the Wings on tomorrow to kind of break down the trade deadline with the Red Wings, Steve Eisman and all of that. MC Hudat said, how was your day, Boone? My day was good. Long day today. It is what it is. Hope you guys have a great day as well. Full Slate said, gap year, Booner. We have guys. You have to bring in some sort of free agents. You have guys on your own team that need to get paid. You're not going to go into next year negative. You can't. You have to have some sort of money. July said, Lions better get moving on all that. It will be left is what no other teams want. Listen, people, you have to be patient. Free agency is Monday. They're going to have time. I can guarantee, I'll put a Booner guarantee on. By the time we have our show Monday, whenever it is, Jeff does his morning show or whatever it is, there's going to be a restructure from today until Sunday night. There's going to be a report of a restructure. I almost would guarantee it. I would almost guarantee it. All right, I want to do this though. Let's talk about some news today because there was a lot of different news. The biggest one of them all, I think this correlates with the Lions, whether people agree or don't. I really don't care. I think this is all relevant. A lot of people are like, it's impossible for this guy to come to the Detroit Lions. He's not doing this. He's not. No, listen, it's realistic. Everything in the NFL is realistic. And there has been reports that the Lions have been in on this guy. They have already put trade offers out for this guy. They've already had conversations about it. They've backed off a little bit with it. Whether we don't know who has said that or what's going on, we know this guy is being shopped. Let me bring it up real quick. But today there was a report out, Maxx Crosby. Teams in the trade market have gotten the sense that the Raiders are more open to the idea of trading Maxx Crosby. And it's a situation that is only going to intensify. So it's real. There's a chance this thing happens with the Maxx Crosby. Now, is it the Detroit Lions? Who knows? There's been a lot of different reports that have been coming out today in regards to the Maxx Crosby stuff. A lot of people kind of, say, hey, the Lions offered 2. The Cowboys had an offer out there. And when the other teams heard that the Cowboys had, I think it was a first round, just one first round. The rumor is Cowboys are unwilling to give up 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby, which is, I think, it's fair for them. They just gave a first round for Quinnen Williams, even though they got a couple for Micah Parsons. Why would you give up Micah for a couple first and then use those first just to go get maybe a player a little less than Maxx Crosby? Doesn't make much sense. So I can see why they're like, we're not giving 2 for him. And then obviously there's the Chicago Bears stuff where I thought today too, my first mind goes, hey, Maxx Crosby, like this is a real thing. For the Chicago Bears to get Maxx Crosby. I came across this tweet and I told the doc in his show. I did tell the doc I had some, I would say, kind of breaking Maxx Crosby news. Not for the Lions, not a trade, none of that. It's more so breaking with the Chicago thing. Because everyone seems to be like, hey, he's going to Chicago, which I agree. All signs point to that. Chicago Bears today trade DJ Moore to open up some cap space, kind of get a second-round pick back. For that, they gave a 5th and DJ Moore for a 2nd. They also, obviously, their center, Drew Dahlman, also retires, so they also get more money back on that. They opened up a good amount of cap space, and there's a couple other moves that everyone's like, hey, they can make to be able to make this happen. And, they're willing to give up picks, right? They've proven that. This is what I saw though. I saw this today, right before I got off work and before I got off the show. Noah Palin. Don't know how. Let's see. Something showdown site expert. Let's talk baseball or movies. Oh well, Chicago guy. The Waddle and Sylvie show. That's the ESPN radio show in Chicago. Waddle and Sylvie do a great job. I actually, when I want to listen to some Chicago stuff, if I want to kind of tap in on news going on in there, just kind of, we're Lions, NFC North. Hey, what's happening in Chicago? Waddle and Sylvie's a good little show to go listen to, see and get a sense of what's happening in that market. Quote from Adam Schefter on ESPN radio with Waddle and Sylvie today. I would be surprised if Maxx Crosby ends up in Chicago. I think this is a big. This is big. I'm not going to say Shefty swings at 100% and is every single thing that he says is correct. I would have to say though, one of the most tapped in people in all of football is ESPN insider Adam Schefter. And if he feels like it's kind of a stretch and he'd be shocked if Maxx Crosby ends up in Chicago, then I would have to start leaning towards the side that there's probably not going to be a trade for Maxx Crosby to the Chicago Bears. And Bears fans don't want to believe it. Lions fans, we want to believe this. I hope this is true. But after all day today, like I think there's a world where Maxx Crosby wants to go somewhere that he wants to be. And I don't know. Listen, hands up. This is just a thought. Don't think he wants to be in Chicago. He grew up a Lions fan. He's a Lions fan. If he gets an opportunity, why would he say, I would love to go to Chicago? And I don't know if that's the thing that the Bears are being maybe a little less aggressive. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. But I do think that there's a sense of, hey, you can trust Adam Schefter to a sense there of, if he throws out there, hey, I would be shocked that happens. Then yeah, I would be shocked. And I'll tell you what, I think there's a chance, and I text the boys this today when this Maxx Crosby stuff's going down. I did text the boys and say, hey, I don't know what it is, but there's a gut feeling in me that feels like Brad Holmes is trying to get Maxx Crosby in Detroit and give up a first and a player. And maybe you have to do 2 firsts without a player, or maybe you have to give a player and only do 1 first. I think right now the Raiders are kind of lowering the market the longer they take and the more offers they decline. I think the market goes down and obviously teams start to get leverage. Every single time the Maxx Crosby news has come up, there's been reports that the Lions have been in on it and they have had phone calls with them. And then at the combine this last week, there's the reports of, and the doc put it out, and he spoke with multiple people at the combine, that the Lions actually had first twos and they were willing to do 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby, and they kind of backed out on it, whether, when no one really knows what happened or how it happened. But if teams are backing out on it, I think that starts to lower the price a little bit. And then there was the report today that the Cowboys had a first out there for them and they declined it or whatever it was. So I think it's something realistic. There's a gut feeling in me that I think that there's a real chance that they're trying to make that happen. And I hope it's true, because I hope what that's going to show, man. This team's real, or Brad's real about actually trying to compete and win a Super Bowl, which I think is what everyone's been waiting for. We'll get back to that though. I got more stuff on Maxx Crosby. I also today I'm going to do. We're going to have Scott Bischoff on here in just a second. After Scott, I'm going to do my top 5 free agents for the Detroit Lions that I think they need to go after. Special guest at 9:00 as well. We got Raj at 9:30. Let me bring on though the legend here. Since the combine's done, we were at the combine all week. We talked to him before the combine, gave us a lot of insight. An analyst at DetroitLionsPodcast.com, the legend, Scott Bischoff. Scott, how are we doing?
The legend. Get a grip.
The legend in our eyes here. The legend.
How are you? What's happening?
Doing well. Jeff, we got back from the combine Sunday. And within 2 days, Jeff hopped on a plane to Florida. So he said, hey, Boone, you got it the rest of the week. And I'm all right, I got it. Let's roll.
Must be nice.
Yeah, that's right. I want to be in the sun. How are you doing post combine?
Good.
Probably a lot of stuff that you kind of went through over the last couple of days after everyone tested, and you know how it is. All like the rumors, and there's so many things that come out of the combine. Post combine, how are you feeling? Is there any guys now that you're a little bit higher on that's moved up in your book, or even some fallers here? I feel like that's the biggest thing. Is got a lot of guys raise their stocks, but there's also guys who fall down pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, the faller list is a little smaller. Like Lee Hunter from Texas Tech looked pretty awful what he was doing, but he also appeared to be relatively hilarious. So, he's a character. His vertical jump was like 21.5 and his broad jump was 8'4". And it's like, did you even try? What happened there? But his game isn't predicated on all that stuff so much. So for him, it's a little lesser, it's a lesser worry for a player like him. But then you look at like Cassius Howell, edge rusher. He's fine. Everything was fine. It's just his arms come in so short that he becomes a total outlier. And is he going to end up being the one guy with these short arms to work in the NFL? And that's just not a gamble that a lot of teams are going to take. Although when you watch him play, he is a very twitched up, sometimes tackles don't even touch him as he runs by them. He's got really good hand usage. He's got all the things that you want. He's got a big bag of pass rush tools. He's a really good player. It's just the arm length to me stood out as something problematic. And then I didn't really care for Caden Proctor's workout. at all.
He's an interesting prospect. I've heard so many different things about Caden Proctor. There's like people who love him, and then there's people who just really don't like him, and there's no middle. It feels like it's one or the other with him.
Yeah. So I think there's some people hanging on the hope that he can play tackle because of this sort of huge man athleticism, but it's more in his balance that's really awkward. I'll just say I was a little disappointed by the way he moves, the way he moved in the drills. I paid zero attention to the 40 or the vertical with him or any of these. I just didn't. To me, it was more about what does he look like moving, right? And there were times when he was moving where they're asking him to go right to left, to right to left, and the time that it takes for him to hear go the other way, to stop his body, collect himself, and then get everything going back the other direction is way too long. There's such a lack of suddenness in and around his movements, and it's just it does make it look like after watching him on film, you can understand why if he does overset a little, he just cannot redirect, come back inside. It just takes too long. So that kind of puts itself together. Like that's a thing that you could see play out on the edge of an offensive line. But in the end, I think he's going to have to play guard and give some teams some sort of security that if things go poorly, I can play tackle. I just didn't like the way he moved during the drills. And the only other guy that I want to mention in a bit of a, I wouldn't even call this a negative light. I would call this maybe as a player who might have to change positions. And if he does, he could be absolutely elite, and that's Spencer Fano.
I was going to ask you about him tonight. That's a big guy, especially I felt like he was a top 10 pick a lot going into the combine, and now I see him mocked 12 to 20 in every mock draft now going forward. And
the natural desire is those short arms. Like everybody's going to see the short arms and just jam him in to play guard.
Yep.
And I don't know, man. Like the stuff that happens when you're playing guard, it happens from huge, super quick players. And I do not think in terms of where Fano's game is right now that he could hold up and play well as a guard. However, when I think about the elite run games in the NFL, the elite ones, they're driven by super athletic centers who have range to climb to the second level and make blocks out in space for running backs. Think Jason Kelce when he played for the Eagles.
Yep.
Undersized center, crazy athletic. He managed to get out into space and make blocks for his running backs. Fano might just be the perfect center for today's game.
He was taking snaps at the combine. That was the first thing I noticed. I hit right? Jeff. I hit him. I go, look. I said, look who's taking snaps with all the centers right now. And it was Spencer Fano. And we looked at each other like, wait a second. And then later in the night, I watched the broadcast and they highlighted it. Daniel Jeremiah was like, him doing that is, it speaks volumes. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, if the Lions are looking for now, obviously he hasn't played center. So you'd have to bring him in, work him out as a center to see what you think you might have there. But from a movement skill standpoint, he's got it all. He moves incredibly well. I just don't think. Yeah, I mean, again, this is another one where his short arm length explains and gives you information as to what you're seeing on film. There's a lot of times on film where he strains to almost feel like he gets the last 5% of his arms locked out, right?
Yep.
And he strains to do that, so he doesn't create extension. And the problem is that now that we see the super short arms, he is locked out. There just isn't much more there for him to go with. So he doesn't create the space between his chest and a defender's chest to be able to run his feet and do the things he needs to do. And it's right there on the film that he does have short arms. I don't know that they're going to play him as a tackle. I mean, he can move his feet as good as anybody. It's just what's his future in the NFL. So I don't necessarily think that he's a combine kind of faller, but it definitely changes the perspective in and around what you view the player to be.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of players who I thought had great workouts. I don't know if you just want to get into them one by one or just talk it out.
Can I ask you about the Spencer Fano thing real quick with the Lions? Yeah. I just follow up on that, and especially kind of two-part question. The first one with the Fano thing. Do you think there's a world if he's at 17, the Lions draft him and with Taylor Decker say, hey, we're going to throw you at left guard? Because he could probably start right away and then maybe get him out to tackle. And if not, next year draft a tackle and slot someone in. Like, is that a possibility with him if he falls where he could play right away at left guard
in year one?
Yeah. Like, could he start over Christian Mahogany?
I think he would fail terribly as a guard.
Really? Do you think he could play anywhere on the offensive line to start in year one? Or do you think he needs a year to kind of get rolling?
I do think he needs some time to get rolling, especially if he's going to move to center.
Okay.
Because things do change, and you have to learn. You have to know so much. I worry. I don't think he can play guard. I mean, maybe he can't, but in the concept of, like, you know, he's an undersized player who's underpowered right now, and you're throwing him closer to the ball where the bodies are bigger, in some ways quicker. Contact happens quicker. I don't know that he's going to hold up real well. So it's tricky. This would be one of those things where you'd rely on Holmes and Campbell to figure this out. But either way you look at it, it's not a position this kid has played before. Yeah. So there'd be some, you know, there's gamble happening there, and that's probably not the best thing to do.
What do you think with the Lions now that, like, this whole thing's moved with Fano, and then a name everyone keeps throwing out, Monroe Freeling's moving up? What do you think they go at 17 now post combine? Do you still think it's an offensive lineman? Is there a specific one that you want to slot in there, or do you think there's a different maybe edge now after looking at what, you know, some of these guys going up and down?
I mean, I think we talked the last time I was on with Jeff about Freeling. Even back 6 weeks ago, he was like, yeah, this guy's the real pure left tackle in this class, who's going to be a left tackle, when the other ones are either right tackles or maybe guys who might be right tackles or might have to kick in to play guard. It's tough because we got to balance the window they're in right now. You can't. It would not be a great choice to take a player knowing he's going to sit on the bench for a full year and not help you in year one. That's your first round pick, right? Like, I don't know that that's a great plan. But the exception of that, or the inverse of that, is you're relying upon Taylor Decker, and he is missing time. His body's falling apart. You have an opportunity to grab a guy who might play the left tackle position for you for 10 years, and a player like Monroe Freeling. He's 21 years old, prototype, big body, very athletic, all this stuff. Problem is it's super unlikely that he's going to even be there at 17. So yeah. I've taken him out of the range of even thinking that he'll be there at 17. I don't think he's going to be. But there are other ways to do some of these things. There was Maxx Iafrate from Arizona State is a super intriguing player. He's a right tackle. He measured 6'6", 321. He had 33 7/8 inch arms. The arm length thing has been weird the last 2 years. It's not all that reliable. But from a movement standpoint and from a physical standpoint, I think the scenario with him is that you could draft him expecting him to play tackle, but also allowing him to play guard in year one, which is, I think, what everybody kind of is looking for. Am I wrong about that?
No, I think you're spot on. Honestly, I think that's kind of the goal. I think in this first two picks, find something like that.
Yeah, and to me, the way he moves at his size, long enough arms, 6'6", 320 plus pounds. He mirrors well. He anchors well. He's got strong hands. He's got all that stuff. He just played on the right side of the line for Arizona State. So I think people are confused. Why didn't he play left tackle as opposed to right tackle? I think he can play left tackle. I think he's big enough and stout enough and strong enough to be able to play guard in year one and then flex out to play either tackle position in year two. And to me, there's value there. It's just he's not necessarily a player who might go at, say, pick 17, but in a trade back kind of a thing, yeah, he that'd be really good. He absolutely will not be there with pick 50. So, so those are the two tackles I think that make some sense for what their roster makeup is. And then there's one other player who's not a tackle who might make it all work. And it's Vega Ioane is like, I don't know what you guys think of him, but
Is that the Penn State kid, correct?
Penn State left guard. Think of a scenario where you've got Penei Sewell, you've got Tate Ratledge, you've signed a center in free agency that you like, and you draft the Penn State left tackle, and you just go, those four dudes are our guys, and we'll figure out the tackle position. We'll take a tackle in round 2 kind of thing, and he'll be our long-term solution to the problem. Those four guys are everything the Lions did 2 years ago when it was smash mouth, run through your face football.
Yeah.
And the Penn State dude, he fits that. I mean, he is a fiery guy, super powered up. He will run over you, through you. He'll put you in the dirt, all that stuff. Yeah. So you could go about it that way too. So there's a variety of ways they can get that done. It's just, it requires a whole lot of trying to figure out the best way to do it. And it also ignores defense for the most part. And I don't know that that's a great plan either, so I don't know.
Yeah. That's I think the give and take with the first 2 rounds. Like, do you want to go there's going to be some edges available that might end up being good. Everyone keeps bringing out Mesidor. There's a handful of guys at 17 where you're like, all right. And I've been saying this, Scott, I think there's a world. We saw it 2 years ago where we all thought all these defensive players were going to go in the top 10, and all of a sudden some of these guys dropped and the first defensive player was picked at 15 with Latu to the Colts. Yep. And I've been telling the people, I said, listen, like, we don't know what's going to happen. One of these top defenders could somehow fall to like 15, and Brad can make a move to move up 2 and go get a Caleb Downs if he falls, or someone like that. And I don't think it's a crazy scenario. I do like what you said, though. I like the left guard thing, because the kid from Arizona State, we actually talked to him. He met with the Lions formally. Yeah. And then we asked a lot of we originally were asking tackles, like going up to them, hey, did you meet with the Lions? And then we asked one guard, I can't remember what he was at. Maybe it was like Kansas State. I'm drawing a blank completely. I might have been the Kentucky.
Okay.
The right guard out of Kentucky, Jalen something.
Jalen Farmer.
And he was like, yeah, and I believe he had a formal with the Lions. And then there was also a guard or a random tackle out of Kansas, and we were like, wait a second, they did a formal. We're like, they might be meeting with some guards too and looking at that left guard spot, or trying to get some. And because I think the biggest thing with the Lions is that interior was just so bad last year that they're looking for any fix. And then if you look at next year's tackle free agent class, it's pretty good. So maybe they're like, hey, let's just get to next year and let's roll with Taylor Decker. But I like that. Was there any before I let you? I don't want to hold you off too much tonight. Did you have the risers? Was there any risers?
Yeah, I have a bunch. I don't know how deep you want to get into it, but Ian Achor was one, Freeling was one, Jude Bowery, Boston College offensive. He's a left tackle.
Yep.
He has really nice feet, and the feet popped in the drill work that they did. Now he's a very developmental player, so it's not like a player you're taking early, but his footwork was very impressive in the drills. I'll get through these real quick. Jeff Caldwell, receiver from Cincinnati, measured 6'5", 216 pounds. He ran a 4.31 40, 42-inch vertical jump, 11'2" broad. Again, very developmental as a player. He's not a great route runner. I don't know that he understands the intricacies of how to get open and all that stuff. So developmental as a route runner. This guy, to me, the next two names, well, let's just go three. The next three names are Lion names to pay attention to. Danny Dennis Sutton from Penn State.
Yes, the edge.
Yep, 6'6", 256. He had 33.5-inch arms. This stuff surprised everybody. So 10'11" broad jump, 39.5 vertical, 4.63 40, and he cracked the 7-second 3-cone. So for defensive ends, edge guys, anything sub 7 seconds on the 3-cone is cooking, and he beat it. So that's a great number for him. He is a very physical, heavy end who is a run defender first, and he doesn't offer you all that much as a pass rusher, but the numbers he just popped through are like, you do have some athleticism to play with. So maybe there's just some things that you can extract from him as a pass rusher. He'd be a player I'd bet on because from a physical standpoint, he'll give you everything he's got as a run defender. The Oregon safety, Dylan Tiedemann, wouldn't stun me if they took him at pick 17. It wouldn't be a surprise at all. Safety play drives the Lions defense.
Yep.
He ran 4.35, 41-inch vertical, 10'5" broad jumps. His testing was smooth and fluid as it could possibly get. Questions with him are, does he play as fast as he timed? And I don't think he does, right? I think that there are some things that hold him back. Some of that is his eyes. So when he has to decipher or figure stuff out, it slows the whole thing down just a little bit, not a lot, but a little. But that little bit of slowness stands out when he's 30 yards, deep in coverage, trying to hang. And it's just like, yeah, that doesn't look like a guy who ran 4.35. It just doesn't. So I don't think he plays to his tested time, but he's still a really, really good football player. And then the other one was Sam Roush from Stanford, the tight end. Just huge, 6'6", 267. Really weird build. He's got super short arms, like 30 and 5/8" arms for a guy who's 6'6". So it's like he's a T-Rex or whatever, walking around. Crazy athletic measurables, 38.5 vertical, 7.08 3-cone. He ran a 4.7 flat 40. Watching him on film, he looks like a big, strong prototype inline tight end with enough athleticism to be sneaky and dangerous with, catching passes up the seam in the intermediate parts of the field. He was a guy who a month ago, I thought this guy needs to be a Lion, and he's just risen to the point where you'd have to probably take him at pick 50 if you want him, because he's risen to this point. He looked really good. And then there were a couple safeties. I'll get through him. Genesis Smith from Arizona, 6'2", 202. He tested really well. His drill work was great. VJ Payne from Kansas State is another one. He tested great. They're both big, 6'2", 6'3", 205-pound range for each of them. They're both like Kirby John. They're both what I would say like single high players who thrive in man coverage and also making plays on the ball while reading the eyes of the quarterback. And that's kind of what Kirby Joseph has done in his career here. They're both like that. Neither of the players I just mentioned, Genesis Smith or VJ Payne, are super sound with their physicality. So they'll hit you, but they're just not aggressive enough. And they're not great tacklers and all that stuff. And the last guy I thought who stood out in a good way was Chris Johnson, the San Diego State corner, 6'1", 193, who ran 4.4 flat, 38 vertical, 10'6" broad jump. I'm just going to tell you, this guy might be a dude.
Chris Johnson. I'm writing his name down right now.
Yeah. If you watch him in coverage, it is just like he just smothers players. And then there's a play he makes against Washington State where somebody crosses his face. He's already 20 yards downfield. Guy crosses his face. I'm not even sure if it's his guy in coverage, but he recognizes it. And then he runs after him. And the guy's got, he's got like a 7-8 yard start on him, and he's going to score. And Chris Johnson catches him, makes a diving play in the end zone, to pop the ball out, and the speed on display there is just unreal, and the ability for him to diagnose that. So very impressive play. Again, that was against Washington State last year. Impressive player on film. My guess is he will not be there at 50, and that's a bummer. But if he was, that'd be a pick that we'd go, yeah, please.
I like these guys. I'll tell you what, Scott. Jeff's probably mad that he's out this week if he's watching right now, because 3 of his favorite guys coming out of Indy when we left. One was Sam Roush out of the tight end out of Stanford that you mentioned. Dennis Allen out of Penn State, the edge rusher, and he also loved the wide receiver out of Cincinnati. Those were like 3 guys as we were sitting there watching. He just kept bringing them up, and every time they did something out there, he's like, "Look at them." And then those are your first 3 guys, kind of sleepers that you brought up. That is unbelievable. I know those are all good guys. I'm gonna, what I'm gonna do, Scott? I'm gonna start messaging you some guys, because I've been finding a few, like Genesis out of it's a safety out of Arizona. Yeah. The other safety out of Arizona.
He's good too.
That was a guy. I walked up to his podium, Scott, and all of a sudden, first thing, someone asked him about safeties, and he just goes, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Those are the guys I want to play like when I get to the NFL. And then they asked, "Hey, did you meet with the Lions?" He's like, "I met with the Lions." And right on my radar, I'm like, "This is the kid." And then all of a sudden, I wasn't familiar with Genesis. And then and then someone a couple days ago, we had a couple fan mock drafts on Tuesday, and they're all mocking Genesis to the Lions.
Yeah.
So I start connecting all the dots
really
here.
Good. Those guys both look really good in their drill work, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to start sending you some stuff, Scott. I appreciate you hopping on. I know Jeff, but coming on solo show with me. I think a couple months ago, me and you hopped on for a solo show with me as well, which was fun. So I appreciate it.
You having me on, man. It's good.
For sure. We'll have you on next week. Make sure you guys go check out Scott, Lions and NFL draft analyst at DetroitLionsPodcast.com. You can see it right underneath there. Scott, we'll talk next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Yep. See ya. All right, Scott Bischoff, legend. He said it's funny. He said he is a legend for us when it comes to NFL draft coverage, helping us out a little bit at 9:00 here in about 6 minutes. Special guest. I was going to do my top 5 free agents that I like for the Detroit Lions. And shout out, I believe this is Micro Mike, man. Shout out Micro Mike. What an absolute legend. We need to get him on here soon. Make sure you go check him out as well. But I want to do my top 5 Lions free agents. By the way, too, there's just been news, NFL news, just flying in all day. Tyler Higbee got re-signed, an extension there with the Los Angeles Rams. Something's going to happen with the Lions in the next 24, 48 hours. And I'm telling you what, I think this, you could call me crazy. I think the Maxx Crosby stuff gets done. I think there's a chance. I actually put a bet on it on DraftKings. I did. It was plus 2,000. I'll say it. I didn't tell anyone all day. I did it, didn't tell anyone. This is the first time I'm putting it public. I put a bet on the Maxx Crosby to the Detroit Lions at plus 2,000. I think they're working something out on the back end. I don't know what it is, but I think something's happening. And all the people, too, I want to say, I was listening to Doc earlier, and the Doc's talking about, everyone's talking about Aleem McNeil in these trade packages. Who was the first person to bring up Aleem McNeil 8 months ago, his contract? Me. Who was the first person to say, throw Aleem McNeil in for the contract for Maxx Crosby? And everyone said, you're an idiot, Booner. That was me. Don't forget, the contracts line up. The money lines up. It lines up. And I love Aleem McNeil. And the people are like, well, give him a year back at the ACL. I'll tell you what, he got asked. And listen, players are honest, I feel like, when it comes to injuries, because they don't want to get hit on either side when it talks about, like, oh, well, he says his leg doesn't hurt. So, or it does hurt. He wants to be honest with the people. He said that there was no pain in his leg. It was just a mental thing. At that point, I think that's more worrying than if there was a pain in his leg, because the pain in his leg eventually is going to go away. Eventually it's going to go away, right? You can rehab in the offseason, or you can maybe get another surgery, whatever it is, to get it fixed. If it's a mental thing with him, how do you know he's going to get back to where he was before? You don't. You really don't. You really don't. This is what I'm going to do. You guys put in the chat too. I want to do this. This will be I'll work with the chat here since I'm solo here. I did my top 5 free agents to look out for the Detroit Lions that I think would be a good fit for them. I'll show you before the special guest. I'll pop it up, and as the special guest hops on, I'll have them kind of they can talk good or bad about my list. Who do you in the chat? Throw it in the chat now before I throw mine up there. Give me one or two free agent players that you want the Detroit Lions to take or to go sign. Don't do as well. I'm going to say this. Don't do 3 centers. Give me your top center that you think's most realistic. If there's 1 or 2 edge rushers that you like, throw that in there. I did a couple different positions. I had one position doubled up because I think at that position there's a couple guys. But throw in there and I did high end and low end. I did a guy that's 17 million a year, and I did a guy that's 6 million a year. I did the very top, very bottom. So throw in there who you want the Lions to re-sign, or not to re-sign, to sign in free agency. Once we get a couple names and some people in there, I will. Here's one right away. Zaxian, Najee Harris, Devin Bush, Trey Hendrickson. I'll say the Najee Harris one, I don't hate that. I know he's coming off an Achilles. I don't hate that, especially as an RB2. I think Najee, every year he's playing in the NFL, except the year he got hurt, every single year he played, 1,000-yard back. You rebuild this Lions O-line and you throw him with Jahmyr Gibbs, that's a great 1-2 punch. Devin Bush, I think Devin Bush is going to be expensive. I could be wrong with that, but I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know what the price. And Trey Hendrickson, too, I think he's going to be a little too expensive, too. He's going to get a massive deal. And I think, like the Maxx Crosby thing, you say, well, Max is a big deal. Max is around 28 to 30 a year on his current deal. Trey is going to be 40 a year, most likely. Like, it's a big jump, in my opinion. Michael Mike said Joey Bosa, maybe a tease to mine. I might have Joey Bosa on my list as well. There's going to be some shocking ones on my list as well that you guys might not like. Devil Dog said McGovern, Tariq Woolen, David Njoku. Listen, the David Njoku thing, I like that, Devil Dog. I think that's cool. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know why David Njoku would want to sign in Detroit. Jalen Phillips, like that one. That one's gonna be really expensive though. If you see, I heard the doc earlier say, why can't you just get Connor McGovern and Jalen Phillips? Why can't you get that done? Dude, that's 2 guys that are gonna be 20+ million a year. Or Jalen Phillips maybe 15 to 20. Like, you can't do both. You really can't. MC3 Who Dat said Reek Woolen, Tyler Algier. I did throw Tyler Algier as an honorable mention of mine. I'll say that. Devin Bush, Jalen Phillips, Adafe, Owu, Tariq Woolen, Cam Crawl. I keep seeing Tariq Woolen, Jamel Dean, like that. Will Harris. Shout out Will Harris, man. I've heard Will Harris' name in a long time. Oh, shout out Will Harris. I think it was on the Commanders this last year. Full Slate said Marcus Davenport. Okay, now you guys are just trolling me. Austin said Brian Robinson and likely Aaron Jones. Brian Robinson. All right, I'll just share my list with you guys until my special guest gets in here. Booners, top 5 NFL free agents for the Detroit Lions. There you have it. A lot of people, I know that for sure there's one on here that there's going to be a lot of pushback. And I'll explain, and listen. I understand. I hear you. But it's not as bad as you think. Let's not look at the age. Let's start at number 5, Cam Jordan. You can listen. I don't care if you're going to sit there and be like, oh, he's 70 years old. He's on a decline. Listen, guys, like, let's call a spade here. Brad Holmes signed 2 seasons ago a Marcus Davenport, who had probably a career 10 total sacks, to a $10 million deal. If you're telling me that you can move on from Marcus Davenport this year and you can add a Cam Jordan, who is, yes, he is going into a year, 16, but he's coming off a season where he played in 17 games, had 10.5 sacks. I'm pretty sure he had 30-something quarterback rushes or whatever you want to call it. You go on PFF and you go, all right, let's see his grades. I know people hate the PFF grades, but it's realistic when you look at it to a sense of, all right, where does he kind of fall into place, right? Where does he fall into place? Guys, Cam Jordan was ranked 24th in the NFL as an overall grade in PFF for all edge rushers. He was top 25. And then he had 10.5 sacks as a pass rush, right? He gets 10.5 sacks. It wasn't like an AQM 10.5 sacks where AQM had 7 of those 10.5 or 11. He had 7 of them in 3 games. It was a spread out where in all these different games he's getting he's producing. And then the doc, this is what the biggest one. The doc was like, well, he's a third down guy only. He played in 600 snaps, guys, and 240 of them run plays. And if you're like, well, he's not good at the run, he was rated 4th out of all edge rushers in run defense last season with an 82.1 run defensive grade. So there's no like, oh, well, he can't stop the run. Well, no, actually, he's top 5 in run defense last season as an edge rusher. Oh, well, he doesn't play a lot of run plays. He's not in for all the run plays. He's only a third down back or a third down edge rusher. Wrong. 250 snaps in run defense. And you know what? You want to be like, well, he's old. He's going to be injured. Let me just real quick for you. And this is going to be a lot of numbers for you, so bear with me. In 2025, he played in 17 games. Now let's just keep going back. 17 games the year before, 17 the year before, 16, 16, 16, 16. For every single season of his career. I believe he might have only missed in his career, in a 15-year career, I think he's only missed 1 or 2 games in the regular season. That's it. That's it. And if you want to say, well, it's age. Age isn't slowing this guy down one bit. The man had 10.5 sacks, and he was top 5 in run defense out of all edges last year. And you can get him for $6.8 million. This guy, Brad, paid Marcus Davenport $10 million and had like 10 total sacks in his career. Cam Jordan did it in year 15. Don't let these people on Twitter instantly be like, oh, he's 50 years old. You don't want him. No, go look at it. Go watch him. See what he did last year. Actually don't just look at the age and be like, oh, no, I'm out on him, like the doc does. And the doc's like, you'll never convince me. No, be realistic. Do your homework. Go look at it. He can stop the run. Now, is he going to go out there and play every snap like Aiden Hutchinson? No, he's not. But if you can get him for under $7 million, man, under $7 million for a piece that can be part of your rotation, and can get you 7 to 10. Dude, it's a steal. And he's a captain, man. Like, he's been in it. He wants to win a Super Bowl. I'll go quick through these next 3. Hey, my special guest, I haven't announced who you are yet. Give me a thumbs up if I'm allowed to go through my top 5 real quick. Thumbs up or thumbs down. All right, cool. And listen to it, my special guest, because you can come in and say what you like or don't like. Number 4, Brian Robinson Jr. Listen, I think you're trying to look for a running back in free agency if you're going to go that route under $5 million, kind of like you did with D-Mont coming out of Chicago. Brian Robinson Jr., like, he's the perfect back to pair with Jahmyr Gibbs. He can catch the ball in the backfield if you need it. He's a guy that's going to come in. You're now no longer looking for a guy like D-Mont that's going to get 200 carries a year. You're looking for a guy that's going to get 150, and when you need to punch it in the end zone, if Jahmyr can't or he needs a break, you can do that. This guy's throughout his career has averaged over 4 yards per carry in different seasons when he's on good offenses. So I think this is a perfect. He just did it with Christian McCaffrey this last year. So he knows what it is to be kind of that second piece. And he's young still. And if you can get him for like a 2-year, $6 million deal, I'm all in. And I do like the other ones, like the Najee Harris, James Connors. Like, I like those. I think Brian Robinson might be my perfect match to go with Jahmyr Gibbs. Number 3, Tariq Woolen. I saw a lot of people in the chat actually putting Tariq Woolen. A lot of people. There were, and I want to pull this up to you real quick. Actually, you know what? Before I get into this, let me bring in the guest, my special guest. He could come in and talk about these with me because I'm going to keep talking because it's going to take me 5 minutes to do this whole list. Ladies and gentlemen, let me stop sharing my screen just so I can just get the guest the what he deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only Lukas Klotz. Lukas.
Boone, chat. Great to be here. Great to be here. Great to be back, Boone.
I don't know if anyone was expecting Lukas Klotz. I kept this tight to the chest. I didn't tell anyone you were coming out.
Secret Service. Yeah, you can want classified information. You can hear me well, see me well. Good.
You look great today, Klotz.
Come on.
I know the people have been asking, hey, where's Klotz when he's coming back on? He's here.
Come on. Can't wait to break these down with you, Boone. It's been I don't know, frustrating. I like the D-Mont trade. We'll probably get into stuff like that, but it's been a frustrating offseason so far, narrative-wise, as far as what's going on around the Lions and if they don't make moves.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best, huh? Not the greatest.
We move though. I think that I mean, the reason I was preying on the downfall of the Lions last year when you guys were getting so frustrated with me is so when this offseason comes, they think back to last season, like, all right, maybe we changed some things. But if they keep things moving they have been, philosophy-wise, I don't know how much more I could actually like buy into, invest time into this team.
Yeah, which is, I think it's fair. I'm gonna real quick, Klotz. I'm gonna pull this up. Let's do this and we'll get into it. I just want to finish this real quick.
Top five. I have some thoughts.
The top five. I'm gonna real quick. I'm just gonna break these last ones down. I just wanted to have you on here so you can hear more what I think. The Tariq Woolen one. You have to. In my opinion, Klotz, you just have to add a core. Like whether you think Tariq Woolen's like gonna come in and be your number one or not, I don't think he's going like right away. Like you don't know him and DJ Reed. You have to have one insurance for TA because you don't know what's gonna happen. Two, Klotz, we've done a lot of shows together the last few years. I love bringing in competition. Like if a position group's playing bad and there's not good things happening and you're not getting the best out of guys, bring a third or fourth guy in and make them compete. Like, and I think Tariq Woolen, like I would be willing to pay $8 million if his contract's $8 a year, which is that,
yeah.
And all these, by the way, all of these numbers here are projected from Spotrac. They're the market value. So that's where I got these numbers. But $8 a year, like, dude, you're being like, all right, let's do a 2-year, $16 million thing. And now we have you and TA and DJ Reed. And if one of those guys needs to go to nickel like TA, all right, so be it. But you need to get some competition. You have to get some competition in this corner room now.
Can I just bounce a thought off you? You might not like it, but I feel like there might be some people similar to me. I think I'm ready to just go into this season like week one, waving the white flag at the cornerback spot, at least on the outside. Like I'm fully prepared unless they invest early in the draft, which, I mean, unless it's a fucking stud. Like if you're sitting there late second and Keontae Scott's there, I'm all for that. But you don't know what's going to happen with Terran Arnold, even if he does clear the whole case.
I think you got to keep trying to get corners though. Like you have to.
I'm with you. Like you can't just sit there and be like, all right, we're good. Like I'm with you 100%. Like get some competition. But I just think it's fair to go into this season like expectation for the Lions cornerback room. Jerry Jeudy.
You know what?
Who else do they have? Jerry Jeudy and who else was on the outside?
Do you say Jerry Jeudy?
Or not Jerry Jeudy?
Wide
Jerry
receiver?
Jacobs. Jerry Jacobs.
Yeah.
And who else was Vildor? Shout out. Like I'm expecting that this year. It's gonna look different, but it's gonna be, as far as consistency level, probably up there again.
I just think, dude, if you want to have you have to go out. If you want to be taken serious as the corner position, man, you got to make something happen. You got to make something shake and bake, man.
And I feel like truly the only way to do that's in the draft. Like the chance to shake and bake was TA. Like that
how'd that work? I don't know if I trust Brad in the draft with corners, to be honest. I think I would rather him just go get a proven guy like Tariq Woolen who just won a Super Bowl. I don't trust him to have
the better route. It's probably the better route to go free agency because I think to Brad's credit, like it's hard for a lot of GMs to pick.
Like imagine this, Klotz. Imagine last year instead of signing DJ Reed, you paid $2 more million a year, and you got Carlton Davis. You kept Carlton, and then this
on the outside.
Yeah, and then this offseason you brought in Tariq Woolen, and you had Tariq and Carlton Davis. Like, oh wow, that's a really good corner room. Like
that's what the Seahawks did with their D line. Like they just added a year, but like they didn't make any they weren't going and getting Micah Parsons. They're not about to go trade for Maxx Crosby, but they were adding like, okay, here's a dude at the trade deadline. Here's a dude in free agency. Yeah. And over a season and a half, 2 years fully, like that room's transformed. I mean, they did that. They did that with the offensive line though. Like they got Panay. They already have Frank. Okay, bringing Kevin Zeitler over here. Like they built that over time.
I don't know why they don't do it with the D-line and with the corner position. It baffles me. What do you think about so number 2? I had Joey Bosa. His number, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Joey Bosa is going to get 14 a year. I think it's going to be like 10. I think his stock's a little lower. He was though a top per PFF. He was a top 25, or he was really rated 17th overall. And this year, and you know this, Klotz, you're a ball knower. A lot of people when I talk Joey Bosa. And I'm saying bring him to the Lions. Everyone's like, he's so bad in the run game. He's so bad. But people just look at this last year on this Bills defense. Joey Bosa, every season in his career has been either top 15 or top 30 in run defense as an edge rusher. Like he's typically a good run defender. And he's not a guy that's like going to give the run up. I think this was just a weird year for him, but he still was in 2025. He still was. His pass rush grade, Klotz, was 7th overall in all of football, which is, or within edges, and 17th overall among edges. So I would have to think, like, I would spend money if you pair Joey Bosa up. I know he only had 7 sacks or whatever it was. I think he was 2nd in the league in forced fumbles as well, or strip sacks. I apologize. Like people want to, because they don't like Joey Bosa, want to be like, no, I don't want to do it. If you had Aiden Hutchinson and Joey Bosa, that would be like, dude, you paid $10 million for Davenport 2 years ago. You can't pay $3 more million to bring Joey Bosa.
You were going right exactly where I was talking about. And I'm not, hey, Buckeye fan. Any Bosa family can come to Detroit, and I would be happy about that. But to your point, like, okay, Joey Bosa, like in the playoffs for the Bills, like he was making plays in that game, and people were mocking him after, but he's like spiking his helmet in the tunnel. Like the motherfucker wants to win. You know what I mean? Like you bring Joey, and like Davenport, yeah, but I bet the same people are like, Joey Bosa are those same ones clamoring for like, bring AQM back on a 1-year deal. It's like, what do you think AQM's doing against the run? Like, there was a reason why the Lions late in the season were going up and getting shredded by Devin Singletary, even though they had Aiden Hutchinson out there. You're attacking the other side, and you put Joey Bosa out there. Like, he's going to hold his own. He knows what to do. And if he's going to make $14 million if he signed with the Jets, or if he goes to the Raiders, but
he wants to win a Super Bowl.
He went to the Bills last year, made what, $10 million? I could be wrong on that, but in that range, like, the Lions were to pay him $11 million instead of retaining Davenport and AQM for the same amount. Fine. And I understand the injury might be there, but all these guys like Davenport, AQM, like AQM's 31, 32 years old. Like I'm going with the guy who's been in Pro Bowls, been at an all-pro type of level. And really that's a signing that you're not, the Lions, they should be at least making the playoffs. Like I think, like I know they had a down year. I think they rebound, especially with the schedule, because it's going to be easier. Like they're going to make the playoffs. So when you sign a Joey Bosa, you're not signing him for week 1 through 10. You're signing him through December and on. And that's where, if healthy, you got to take that risk. But you're doing the same thing with these other guys. He's going to show up and be more valuable.
By the way, too, people in the chat, this is what I'm talking about when people just like, there's narratives connected to certain guys. You know what I mean? Like with him, like the run defense this year, or like Cam Jordan, he's not a run defender, which is like, these are lies, right? Like it'd be
the same with like Khalil Mack, man. Like, it's the same tier.
Also, the thing in the chat, people just instantly think when you think of Joey Bosa, because 3 years ago, he had a 2-year span where he missed like 1 billion games. He hasn't always been super injury prone throughout his career. He's played a lot of games. In the last 2 seasons, like for you guys who are there, he's injury prone, he's hurt, he's this. He played in 32 games the last 2 seasons. 32. Yeah. He played 3 playoff games the last 2 years. This last year, I believe, let me pull it up just to double check. He played in 15 games last year and 14 the year before. Like, I don't like the fact of people throwing injury prone around when you had guys like Marcus Davenport on your team who have played 2 games a year, right? Like, this guy will give you at least 15 games, and he's going to make sure he's healthy to go for the playoffs. Like, that's all you ask for out of a guy.
I think
he does that.
You don't think he's like the answer. Like you're probably hoping for somebody in the draft as well, or somebody else in free agency.
He's really a piece. That's it. Like he's a piece for a year that you throw to trying to go in and add with Hutch. If you don't get Maxx Crosby, I'll say that. And then the last one, I told people too, they were putting in their chat theirs. I said, like, with the center, like, give me your most realistic one. Don't give me like all 4 of the top guys. You made the reel the other day about me saying I want one of those 4 guys. I just threw Connor McGovern on here. Connor McGovern, I mean, he's rated a top 10 center this past season. I think he has been the last few years. I could check real quick. But his overall grade every single year, he's top 10 in the league at his position. And I know 16 million looks like a lot, but when you look at like, dude, Tyler Linderbaum's going to get like 20 something. So you
think he stays in Baltimore? Because I closed this conversation.
Kind of. It's either that or New York. I think he goes with John Harbaugh. I don't think there's a chance. Yeah, unless a team like I saw today, the Bears like are trying to make a push to get a guy like McGovern, and that's why instead of like people think they're going for Maxx Crosby, but the reason they're actually opening money up is to get a guy like Yeah, like that's the kind of the thing that I heard. But I think like with McGovern, it's like you don't have to pay 20-something mil. You're saving $4 or $5 million, but you're getting a guy that's kind of as productive. Like
it's safe. It's a safe investment because injuries, like the Bills' offensive line for last 2 to 3 years have been the most healthy offensive line. I know that's not him in general, but when you look at, okay, now who's the center of that all? Who's the one that Josh Allen's communicating with the most? It's Ben McGovern, and he's played in these big games. Like, he's gotten just as far as the Lions have and has that same pain of falling short, just like the Lions have had in the playoffs, if not more with him.
He wants to win. I think it's gonna be hard to pull him away from Buffalo, but I think he wants to stay in Buffalo. I just don't know if Buffalo would be like I feel like they're weird with their contracts. They gave James Cook like the runaround before they even paid him, and he had to sit out. Like I feel like they're gonna be a little. But I think Connor McGovern would be perfect, man.
It's going to be one of those things where I think with Joe Brady, he probably is going to stay. That's probably like part of like Joe. Like if you're Joe Brady, you're going to run the same offense. You don't want to go find a different center. So unless he wants to get paid a bag, but where you're going to go to Detroit, that's the same tier of a contender. You know what I mean? So in his eyes, I think those other guys, I can't say his name, dude from Washington, Biotic, however. Like I like him. I don't think he's. I don't think he's going to cost the same money as McGovern, but he's already went from Dallas to Washington, been successful in both, so he can go into a new system and produce.
Yeah.
But I think he's realistic. I
think it was 12th overall PFF too. Like he's. I was shocked. I think the only reason they let him go is they just needed to free up some money. I think that was
because they did something else. Oh, they're talking about cutting Debo. So they're trying to they probably know that they got to invest in that defense and more on that offensive line, especially.
What do you think about the top 5, Klotz? Is this bad?
To be honest, no. Okay, so I like McGovern. You have to get a center in free agency, in my opinion, because if you go, there's not one in the draft where you're like getting there early. Like I need that guy. So I think that speaks within itself starting day one. But McGovern, any of those 4 guys, Bosa, I like. Reek Woolen, again, you need a corner. Brian Robinson, I like the thought. I'm a Tyler Algier guy, but I get the point of people. I think we were talking about the other day, actually, and saying he's going to want to go somewhere and be the one. But, I mean, if you can throw him, would you pay DeMont $6 million? Hey, Algier, $7 million? Well, I'd be happy with that. I think he'd be an upgrade from Demo, younger, been in that situation. I'm going to take Cameron Jordan off, Boone. And this is just because it's like a Klotzy guy. And I said in the group chat, if I had to put a 5 there, I don't want a defensive end. I don't want a corner. I don't want a running back. I don't even want an offensive lineman. Give me that boy Noah Fant from Cincinnati. That's who I want. I made so much money this year off of Noah Fant. Let me tell you. Okay,
I can't believe you just said Noah Fant. That was the last name I thought.
Put Laporta, Iowa Hawkeye, next to Noah Fant, Iowa Hawkeye. You let those boys just go with Drew Petzing. Loves his 2 tight end sets.
He does, yeah.
He was one of the most consistent tight ends in football this year. At least my betting line, I would bet on him every week. It'd be him and Alec Pierce. Then they caught on to Alec Pierce and moved to Parker Washington. But Noah Fant was always there. 20 yards, 25 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards. Come on. He's going to be what? $5 million? That's an upgrade. Red zone nightmare.
A backup
Laporta dealing with an injury. You got Laporta dealing with a back injury. If that peeps up in the regular season or reoccurs.
Tight end was in my mind, you have Brock. I almost said Brock Bowers, Brock Wright, and then you just like bring in a rookie. But listen, I don't hate the Noah Fant one. I just wanted to. Sam Roush. I essentially just did. I wanted to do a center, an edge rusher, a corner, and a running back, and then I was like the most realistic, like double. Like there's so many edge rushers in free agency, so I was like, let me get a second one in there. And then the Cam Jordan news came out today. I don't think Cam Jordan would be the worst. I don't know. I think a lot of people hate it because of the age, but dude, that's productive though. Like, he's coming for a year. He's good for you.
As long as, and I know you're on this train, but there's going to be the Lions fans. Let's say the Lions go out and they sign Cam Jordan to 1 year, $12 million deal, or less than that, $7 million. There's going to go the people that expect him to be the Cam Jordan. And like we were out this weekend at the combine, and Cam Jordan hosts the combine. He's out there having a good time. He's living life. Like he knows he's on the end of his career. So as long as he's again a 6th guy, 7th guy, and you can just rely on him to win one-on-ones when Hutch needs a breather, get 6 sacks for you on the year, make a difference in the playoffs. That's what you sign him for. And again, same thing with the Saints. Everyone wants to win. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer without a Super Bowl. He's been in New Orleans for a long time, and they've been getting just short. Detroit, bring one home.
By the way, Danielle Hunter just signed a 1-year extension. I
thought you were about to say he was released.
No, they signed a 1-year, $40 million extension. I think he already had a year or 2 left on his deal, but they gave him another year. I don't know, just randomly out of nowhere.
Houston doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
No, Nick Caserio, I think he's a heck of a GM when it comes, because like he was with the Patriots for all those championships, but he's kind of an oddball. He's like one of those guys. He's like, it's like one of those videos you see where it's like you never know my next move, and you're like, that's Nick Caserio.
He's the classic. Like right now, he's going to be adding to this defense. It's like taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Like that's great. You got a defense. You still got CJ Stroud, who if he goes through another year, that's probably going to be retiring in 3 years. They got my boy Ursery, but
they do. They just got to figure out that offensive line. If they can figure out this offensive line, they could win a Super Bowl. By the way, Red Wings just made a trade. They just traded for a former Detroit Red Wing. Klotz, you might know his name. I don't know if you do. I know you're a Red Wing hater sometimes. Red Wings just traded for a winger, David Perron. Left wing David Perron.
I do know that name.
Yes, he was on the Red Wings for 2 years, and then he went to Ottawa. And this season, he's played in 49 games, and he has right now 25 points. So the Red Wings just traded back to get David Perron back on the Wings. So I mean, at least Stevie Y. The trade deadline's tomorrow. At least he's making moves. Like this
is always the time. It peaks at trade deadline, and everybody's like, "Oh, the Red Wings." But it's been 3 years in a row now. And at first, I'm watching from the outside. Okay, I don't know puck. I watch from the outside, and I buy into these narratives. And then again, it doesn't hurt me when it happens, but it's always like, "Oh, the Red Wings, they fell off," and it's like, it's like it's always like, how long does Stevie Y have? 2 years, and that's when I started the nah. No, it's and it continues. So I hope that they win. I'm not a hater, but brace yourself. The collapse.
To be fair to this whole Klotz point, let me get this off the screen too. By the way, because we don't need this on screen anymore. To be fair,
let's look at Joey Bosa.
When it comes to the Wings, you say that the trade deadline. Typically, they're like outside of the playoffs, having to make a push to get in the playoffs. They're right now not even a wild card spot. They're in a spot to where. This is like third.
Peak heartbreak about to happen.
But they're third in the Atlantic. Like if for them to miss the playoffs, dude, they would have to have like an all-time collapse. Not an all-time, but like you would have to be like, how did this happen? They're actually
winning 14 games in the NBA, like going 0-16.
If they lost their next 14, then they would be out. But they're
all I'm saying is they're
comfortably right now in a playoff spot.
I'm praying for That's all I'm saying. Gentry, praying for him.
But the years before, like they weren't comfortable in it. They were like edge of the wild card, in and out at this point.
Okay.
Now they're in it now. They're good. They're going to win a playoff series this year.
I hope, and I'm not going to be like I don't have my heart in it. So all I can see is what I've seen over the course. All I can say is what I've seen over the course of 3 years now.
All right.
Since Stevie Y has been hired.
Hey, before Raj is hopping on here, I don't know how long you can be on for, Klotz, but Raj is hopping on here at 9:30.
I'd love to ask him some questions.
If you want to stay on, you can. Honestly, if you want to stay on to the end of the show, I don't care, because Raj will be on for 15, and then we can do a mailbag. People can ask Klotz questions. Do you have we haven't talked to you. I haven't talked to you last week. I feel like we've been off air. Like last week, I got to talk to you a lot about the Lions, but it was like a lot of just walking around Indy off-air conversations.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that? I'll tell you what, you said you wanted them to lose, Klotzy. You were like, I want them to lose so the teachers. As of right now, it's like March 5th. We're getting free agency starts in like 4 days. I don't know if they've learned. Like you're like, well, if they lose, they'll learn. I don't think it worked. I would have rather won, because they haven't learned anything.
If this all goes, like I said, if this all goes, like everything philosophy stays the same, then yeah, I'm an absolute idiot for like praying on like pounding my chest. Like Jameis Winston stiff arm was my favorite play of the year. It honestly was last year, looking back on the season. From Gunnar Olszewski stiff arm and Derek Barnes, ironically, into the turf. Gosh. Super Bowl move, they said. I digress. Seeing that happen, it was like, all right, yeah, this team's cooked. But they have talent. If you watch, let's say, and I brought this point up to you in the chat, but like let's say for shits and giggles, the Bears go out and they get their center that they need, or even worse, they go out and get a Maxx Crosby. The Bears are going to make a move. Okay, it might not be Maxx Crosby, but they're going to improve their team. And if you just stay coasting at the same tier that you have been, and you've seen that it's kind of went on just a natural decline, I have no hope. I have no hope. I don't think they got to go trade for Maxx Crosby. But to your point, if they don't take it serious, like, oh, we need to win now when it comes to the trenches, then okay, wild card at best. Maybe they win the division somehow, really good in the regular team, but Super Bowl, no. Because you got I feel like for a Super Bowl team, when I felt it that way when they were going into the year when Hutch got hurt, when they got bounced by the Commanders. But like during that offseason, you like felt like, oh, this is a contender, true contender. Before Hutch got hurt, they were the best team in football. And I just feel like you gotta trust it. Like the Rams right now, they got like that feeling where it's like, oh, they're gonna go win the Super Bowl. And there's gonna be some other moves that are made, and the Lions, it's not that same feeling.
By the way,
as of yet,
more breaking news: the Chicago Bears, they had an opt-out. They had an opportunity to release one of their star players in 2026 to save a good amount of money. Actually, probably like almost $15 million in cap space. The Chicago Bears just released Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, there was whispers of that.
Yeah, dude, she's due $17 million this year. Well, that's the cap hit, and if they opted out, they had an opt out. They opted out. It's only $2 million dead cap, so they save 15. They're. I don't think they're going to get Maxx Crosby. I'll tell you that.
It's somebody.
Because Shefty went on one of the Chicago ESPN show today and said he would be shocked if that happened with the Bears. But I think they're gearing up to make a splash move.
Yeah, on the defensive side, I'm trying to think of who it could be for, but they definitely are.
Trey Hendrickson.
I feel like they're going to trade. Like I feel like they're going to get Trey Hendrickson, but they're going to if they're clearing that
trade
much
for
cap,
someone else.
Yeah,
that's shocking, man. That's a big. I mean, I know they've talked about it, but like, dude, when we were at the combine, remember we watched the Ben press conference, and one thing he said. By the way, he looked like he was dying. I don't know if he was sick. I don't know what was happening.
There was a couple. Dan and Brad both did too.
Yeah,
it was rough.
It was funny. I'm not even gonna say that when I'm gonna move on from that, but I digress. I was gonna say I was like, Brad doesn't look good, and someone commented, and then there was another like, oh, it was a camera angle. It's like, dude, what? No, dude, they looked so tired, like they've been working 24/7. But Ben was like, we're gonna have to move on from some big pieces. And I was a little shocked because you would think they would just say, let's run it back with everyone and add maybe a couple pieces because they just won the North.
They need a safety too. I wonder if they trade for. What if they get like a Buda Baker?
Oh my Lord!
Trying to think of like guys like that. Like who's stuck in purgatory right now? Like the shitty teams. Raiders don't got anybody besides Max.
It's a good question.
It's gonna be like a Buda or somebody to that. Like you weren't thinking about him, but you're like, now that the Bears got him, you're like, fuck.
And they just got rid of DJ Moore. Like they're gearing up for something. They really are.
Because what they don't with the Dolman thing, how does that affect their cap?
The who? The what? The Dolman? I think they saved like $10 million on Dolman, I think.
Okay, so it's not crazy.
I think they saved a good amount on Dolman and DJ Moore. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like a good amount. All right. Well, we have another legend. We had Scott Bischoff on today. One of my favorite guests of all time. And I see him right now. I don't know, Klotz, have you seen the Max Clark stuff where Max Clark,
that's what I was gonna ask you about.
Did you see the chain stuff though, where he's like wearing these chains and people are like, why are you wearing all these chains?
Raj.
Yeah. I Hey, let me just bring the legend on himself, the co-owner of Tigers ML Report, one of the best in the business, one of our good friends. Raj, look at this. Hold on, let's go full screen. I couldn't
see the preview.
Oh my Lord. Look at this. Come on, Raj, how are we?
You know, guys, I mean, look, I'm just wearing what I wear every day. I mean, I'm just doing what I got to do. And, I mean, look, I'm on the 40-man roster and I'm hitting, I make some foolish errors, but hey, I'm 21 years old. Come some slack,
Hey, Toledo's going to treat you great, Raj.
Raj. You're the best, man. Raj, first off, how are you doing? And congratulations as well. The boys got credentialed for the full season for the first time. They've been credentialed before. I'm guessing maybe it was like specific games or weeks, but now full season, Raj. Come on.
Full season. This is the first time as Tiger Mind Report, as the place we used to work at before, got that. That was the first time. But this was the first time we actually had it as our name. So it's really cool. It feels really good. And again, just the ability, the quality of the work. I mean, look, this is all just
I can't
part of
take
it.
you serious right now.
You know, it's just all part of the game. You know, I'm going to speak in cliches and just continue to do what I got to do. And, you know, you work hard. And no, look, this is not me at all. Like, let's roll up.
Hey, Raj, you looked good, man. Come on.
All right, fine.
At least the stash is real, Raj.
Yeah,
at least the stash. Come on.
Hey,
this is real.
I want to start off this Tigers conversation because we've actually talked about this a couple times on the show. The Kevin McGonigal stuff. I think that's like, in my opinion, we know what this Tigers team has. Kevin McGonigal seems to be like the talk of the town right now, and if he's going to be on the opening day roster, and everyone, like, people are saying you slot him in right now to this lineup, he's the best hitter on your team. Is he going to be on? Where would you do if you're AJ Hinch? Like, are you putting him on the opening day roster? And what would you do? And also, what do you think they do?
I think Hinch he's forced himself to be on this roster. I mean, he's hitting over 461. Again, spring training stats are really, really tricky because some of it's like, okay, what are within the stats that matter for a guy, the difference between a guy making the roster or not. But McGonigal has had, like, if you look at that home run he had to start off the game in an environment like the Dominican Republic where all those fans are there, and he was able to just hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, 461 damn feet. And the numbers, 110 miles an hour, he was able to do that. And he put he had that walk and then the 2 hits, both professional at bats. He's putting them together professional at bats. The fielding is coming together. He's been able to show that too. And here's the thing: you're in those kind of showcase games. You're batting leadoff, as my partner Chris said about this. That says something, and I think that they're throwing him out there to see what he's capable of, and he's been able to answer the bell each time.
Hey, Raj, I know we're here to talk some Tigers, and you might have just hit on it, but I like to, I'm a Toledo man. I fancy myself in some Toledo Mud Hens games. Who are the guys that are going to be at the Mud Hens games that you think are going to be popping off? But, like, who's down there that I need to be looking out for to be called up to the Tigers this year, Raj?
I would definitely say Trey Cruz. Trey Cruz has looked really good in camp. I mean, he's a guy who can play multiple positions, not only on the left side of the infield, but he plays a pretty good center field. I mean, he has done a pretty good job of a position that up till 2 years ago never played, but his father, who played for the Jays and the Rays, played, and he looked athletically. He looks really good out there, and he's able to handle position well. Eduardo Valencia, who I know you saw a little bit last year, and he's going to continue to be a productive force. And he hit for power, he hit for average, and he's a guy that the org really likes a lot. And Max Anderson is another guy who, again, came up late last year for Toledo. Going to be a fun watch. And he is I'm interested in what the Tigers are going to do, whether they're going to put him at second or third. But Jace Young being at first, I don't know if that's going to be a thing, really. I think that's a kind of short-lived thing. And Corey Jukes, who just signed from the White Sox, has showed some power in spring. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, but he has looked the part of a guy who would fit well in Toledo. Just give him some power. Toledo's pitching, though. If you look at it right now, Montero's going back down there, and you're familiar with Montero, but Madden, full season of Madden down there. I think Toledo on paper right now looks really good, and they could contend.
We're loaded. We're loaded up. Come on, Rod. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
I don't care what Comerica has to offer. There is nothing better than going down in downtown Toledo, grab a couple Budweisers, watch yourself some Mud Hens baseball. Better than Detroit. I'm telling you, the best product in the baseball world going on right now is in Toledo.
Yeah, Toledo's going to be stacked. Toledo's going to be a lot of fun this year, and I'm looking forward to going down to a couple Mud Hens games this year. And whether I'm not a Bud guy, I'm a Yingling guy, so I'll grab a Yingling or two if I'm not doing my scouting.
Jeff actually just found out about those at the combine. He thought it was a Chinese beer, Raj.
Yeah, I just learned about it too.
He said Chinese beer. I like this. Yingling. I was baffled.
Man, get out of the comb every once in a while. My God, man.
I thought the same thing too, Raj. When he said it, I've never heard of it. I was like, I think he might be right. I think it is like a Japanese.
You've never heard of Yingling either before that?
No, never. It's never come across my
desk. Put some hair on your chest.
I'm gonna have to try it. This baseball season, I'll have it. Hey, Raj, I want to. Yeah. Last year, the issue with the Tigers was obviously the batting. Like the field and pitching was fine. The batting and that's kind of always been the thing and the pushback for this Tigers team. Are you confident this year in that? Like where are we at with it? Are we feeling like they've taken a step forward? Maybe adding the McGonagall is going to help that even more, or do you think it's going to be the same as last year?
I think it depends on who goes north. Now, if Parker Meadows has been off to a rough start in spring training, so if Parker Meadows can't figure it out, I think there's going to be some gaps in the offense a little bit. But I think we see another step forward from Riley Green, another step forward from Spencer Torkelson, and then you have professional at bats from Gleyber Torres. I think they'll be fine. What concerns me a little bit is, if Cole Keefe is what he's going to be, then I think that it gives me a little more comfort. But the reason why I'm kind of iffy is because Zach McKinstry kind of fell off the face of the plan a little bit after the second half of the season. So is he going to be a 230 hitter, or is he going to be a 260 hitter we all saw? Those are the kind of the fringe guys who even Javier Baez. Like Baez rebounded last year and did extremely well, made the All-Star team. That's awesome. His second half numbers were they dipped a little bit, but he came up when he needed to. He was still clutch. So those are the players I still worry about. But if everybody takes just a small step forward, then I think the Tigers' offense will be fine. But I think it's going to be a slow go in the spring, or a slow go to start the season.
Raj, do you think they're because I'm trying to relate it to make this make sense. But last year going into the season for the Lions, I was like, the season's going to go as Taylor Decker goes. Just because there's an overwhelming point of they need to protect Goff. Do you think there's a storyline with the Tigers right now that people aren't talking enough? Doesn't have to be negative, could be positive, but just an overlying narrative that you think is going to emerge when the season hits that people aren't talking about right now?
Oh, that's a great way to put it, Lucas. That the rotation is how the Tigers are going to go. I mean, if Skubal is not being Skubal, then that kind of affects the whole thing with the Tigers, because the bullpen is not deeper this year when the signing of Drew Anderson, if that's what they decide to use them. I think that it also depends on how they decide to use the back end, whether it's Jansen or Vest or Finnegan, who's working on Splitter more. It all depends on the back of the bullpen. But I think if the pitching if the Tigers go basically how their pitching goes, and if their pitching struggling, then that's obviously with injuries. I mean, you look at Troy Melton, not going to be ready till possibly opening day, and it's right shoulder stuff, and it's always like, oh boy. And so that's where, if the Tigers have another injury to their staff, that concerns me a little bit. And so I think as many starters as we have, I still think it's not often talked about enough that if something else happens, I don't want to say they're screwed or anything. I mean, the division's up for grabs, but it does concern me a little bit, especially what are you going to get out of Verlander? You want to save Verlander for the second half of the season. You really do, because you want him to be primetime JV come postseason.
Hey, Raj, I do want to ask, who's the closer that they signed this offseason?
Oh, Kelly Jansen.
How is he? Are we about to? Is that going to be is it just him and Will Vest now? Is that what we're rolling with? Is he legit?
I think it depends on how AJ Hinch is going to use him. This is a guy who's a little long in the tooth, and so I think he's going to be fine. I think he's a guy who it really depends on how they want to roll with that. They can roll three guys. They can roll three guys deep. I mean, they have Finnegan, they have Vest, and a guy in Canley who has that postseason experience. He has that ability to be the closer in the ninth, and so he has 400 something odd saves. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I just don't know how Hinch is going to use him. So that he also presents a different look too. He's a guy who can get ground balls. He's not, and that's what I like about this. I mean, he's a different guy. Yeah, Vest was a strikeout guy. Finnegan's the kind of same way, and then Jansen's the guy who can always get the ground balls and get those out. So I'll be interested to see how they set it up.
Do you think, Raj, I know you just mentioned with the division, I mean, I know the Guardians are going to be there, but when you look at the end of the season, when it comes down to it, what's your confidence level in the Tigers taking the Central?
I'm pretty confident. Cleveland still talks a lot of smack, which cracks me up. We won the division. Oh, who cares? We beat you the Tigers beat you in the postseason. And so I think that it all depends on Kansas City's really good too. Kansas City has Bobby Witt Jr., a top 3 player in all of baseball. The guy is a beast. And I think if the Royals can figure out if they can get some consistent pitching and the rest of the offense comes around, the Kansas City might be around there too. But I think the Tigers have enough horses to win the division. They should win the division. On paper, they have enough to do it. Baseball is a funny thing. There's so many times I remember like 2008, 2009, like just there's some of these after the 06 when they won the World Series, then automatically assuming that they would come back and do it, get back to the World Series. It took them till 2012. So to me, baseball is just until they get out there and play a division. They should be winning the division on paper, but I think everything has to go just right and other teams like have to kind of fall back a little bit.
You don't feel that synergy though. Feel like 100% confident, lock it in.
I'm going to go 90%. The
Okay.
10%,
All right. That was way okay. You undersold that. I thought you were sitting at like a 60. All right.
No.
That's
fair.
fair.
It's just like I said. I just worry about the 10% is just the variable stuff that like another injury or something like that happens, and so. But I feel again, what did Cleveland do the offseason? Jack, nothing. So we'll see.
What do we think, Raj? If I did, I'm going to throw this out there because the season's starting soon here. Whoa, Klotz, you good? What happened?
Was that me?
No, it looked like you like raised up a little bit. It was kind of.
Yeah, I was trying to bring the cat. I thought the noise was like I didn't hear anything in my house. That was terrifying.
Cool. Raj, if I did parlay Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green to each hit 30 home runs, are you confident in that?
Yeah, I'm confident in that. Look, I'm confident enough to tell you, and I said this in my podcast last week, that Riley Green will be a top 3 MVP in the American League. And
wow, come on.
Like everybody's like, well, what the hell? But then look, here's a couple things with that. Smaller strike zone, so that's going to benefit him. So he's going to get those pitches that he can definitely clear. 2, in terms of like top 5 WRC plus and some of the advanced stats, he was among the best in the American League. And 3, if he can just be his healthy self, if he can be just the same kind of health, that puts him among one of the top players in the American League. And I think that based off his power, based off his swing mechanics, 30 home runs is not it should be expected. And Torkelson, same thing. I think Spencer Torkelson learned a lot from last year. He's taking the ball he doesn't always have to hit home runs, but he started hitting better when he needed to. So yeah, I would put that on your parlay. I feel comfortable with that.
Javi check. I'm not saying 30 home runs, Raj, but Javi, I know he took off last year. Are we expecting the same level? You kind of like, it's going to be Javi.
It's going to be Javi. I like maybe 10, 15 home runs. I think the power is not. It's not the Javi it was from his Cubs days. So if he gets to 20, I'd be shocked.
Fair. Thought to check in real quick. Had to run some numbers.
I hope Javi's back to where he was. I hope he was like first half Javi from last year. That'd be sick.
He was awesome to watch. He was like, I got into some Tigers like deep last year for my standards, and he was like him. And then first half of Zach McKinstry, some dogs out there. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Hey Raj, appreciate you hopping on. Is there anything else that you have? Anything else you want to share? Heading into the season here, we'll probably have you on probably before opening week and a couple of other times here now coming up.
We'll be out in Lakeland in a couple of weeks. Thanks to our fine folks that donated to our GoFundMe. We're going to be going down to Lakeland March 18th through the 22nd for the spring breakout game as the Tigers will take on the Pirates. And so we'll be down in Bradenton and we'll be catching the last couple of games of spring training before they break camp to, they play the Rockies before they open the season in San Diego. So check out our great content over at TigersNLReport.com. If you are a Patreon subscriber, we also have our Patreon. You get free content and paid content. The paid content just goes back to we do this for fun. I mean, technically,
get wild on the Patreon, Raj. You get wild on the Patreon.
We get a little wild on the Patreon. We have also we're working on graphics. I'm learning coding. Wow. So stats guys for people out there like that. But yeah, this is where we have a lot of plans this year, and I'm stoked for baseball. And warm weather. It's supposed to be 60 to 70 degrees in Motor City. Let's do this. So let's go.
Hey, Raj, we appreciate it, man. Let us know if there's anything you need from us heading into the season. Let us know. We'll have you on hopefully maybe next week and every week leading up to the season.
Yeah, Lucas, it's good to see him. I haven't seen you in a while, man.
Come on, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Great night to be back on the show. Raj is joining. I could get my daily dose of Tigers. I shouldn't even say daily dose, like monthly dose. I need to lock in with them, but Raj, you're like the pioneer of my Tigers info. Like before I joined Word, I didn't know shit. And they'd be like, Raj, what does this mean? They'd be like, oh, this is what this means. Bringing some great grub too. You're the man, Raj.
No, man. Like I said, man, we'll have a Yingling down in Toledo for sure. I can't wait to meet up with you during the regular season, my friend.
Great Chinese beer. We have to. We have to.
Hey, Raj, we appreciate it.
I'll see you guys later, man.
We'll see you soon. Oh, that was awesome.
I can't believe you. It's got like a bald eagle on the front of it. It's an American beer.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
Your dad, grandpa, I bet they've drank a Yingling before.
Yeah, I can ask, but I was like, I've never heard of it. And when Jeff said, "Oh, it's like a Japanese or a Chinese beer,"
Who was drinking it? Was Doc too?
No, I think Jeff ordered one.
Oh yeah, it was just
Jeff ordered one. Yeah, he was like, "What is this?"
Great beer.
Yeah, I don't even remember where we were, to be honest. I can't remember where we were. The combine week was.
I loved it.
It's one of the best weeks in my opinion, of my year. Yeah, we meet so many people.
Uno.
Yeah, it just, dude, I was just thinking, like, it's just every year, and we talked about at the end of it would do. It's just like, every year you just start, you go back, the connections you made the years before, you meet with them, talk to them, and then you build more, and then every year it just adds up, and you just start, like, when people, I think it's
flow.
Yeah, like when people hear, like, hey, I'm hearing things out of Indy, or I have sources, like, it's real. You
kind of see it play out, yeah.
Yeah,
you see it
so
in
real.
Time.
And people who are like, oh, that's a lie. There's no sources. It's like, no, there actually is, because the stuff about David Montgomery comes out, and like a night before we see Mike Disner talking to the guy who put it out. And you're like,
yeah. Because like Shefty, Albert Breer, Jeremy Fowler, like those guys are out. Like, they're not like going
everywhere.
to bed. They're not going to bed at 11 p.m. Like it would be 2 a.m. And like the one time was like, he wasn't doing anything wrong. Obviously, like coming from somewhere, but it was like 2 a.m. last year. See Jeremy Fowler just like out at night. We're like going to get food, and they're connecting. We were in the lobby this year, and like Schefter was talking to who was it? Frank Reich. So it's like they're just always trying to connect out there. And it's just like that's where it all happens. Like I guarantee Brad, Dan, and Ben all look extremely exhausted. David Montgomery traded.
You just call Brad
DJ
Holmes Brad.
I was thinking Dan, and then it said Brad. It just brain glitched.
That's so funny. Yeah, dude, our last night there, I mean, we were out every single night until like 2:00, just meeting people, talking. And our last night, it was like 1:00. We're like, dude, boys, let's just go to bed. And we go to the bar hotel. Yeah, we're at our bar hotel, the bar at our hotel. And we're sitting there, and Ian Rappaport's there with like Frank Reich and those guys, and just sitting there, and the fire alarm in the hotel goes off, and we're all looking around, and it was like we're sitting there looking at each other. We look back at like Frank Reich and like Ian Rappaport and Albert Breer's right there, and there's like no one in the lobby. It's just like us, like 8 of us, and we're all like,
I thought we were about to get attacked. I was ready to go.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm going to do what Ian Rappaport does here. He seems like the most like level-headed guy in this building right now. And I looked right at him. I go, what is he about to do? If he runs out of the building, we run. If he stays, we stay. And he sat there and he just sat there and stayed. Klotz like stands up and yells in front of everyone and goes, all right, what are we going to do here?
No.
Everyone looks at Klotz and is like, what?
I said, all right, well, I'm about to do, because in my mind, if I see like no threat of a fire and I hear sirens, my mind instantly goes like the opening of a Call of Duty mission. And I'm like, I'm out. I am out of here. I am gone.
This guy Klotz yelled something out, and everyone looked at him like you had like NFL coaches and like Albert Breer and Ian Rappaport looking at.
I don't, because I would have been the first one safe. I would have.
Let's do this. By the way, drop your mailbag questions. Make sure to real quick. We have 130 people in here. I haven't said it once. Like the stream, it does actually push it out. If we can get to 100 likes, what are we at right now? Let me see. I have the live thing going. Yeah, the live thing doesn't show me the likes. I've just learned that. I don't know how many likes we're at, but whatever we're at, go like it. Let's get up at least to like 80 likes right now.
I'm expecting a good mailbag. I haven't been with the chat in a while. I want a good mailbag. I want some thoughtful questions.
Yeah,
I want some.
I was thinking
cuts.
that. I was like, Klotz mailbag. We should have some good questions.
I want to know who your 5th round sleeper is. Your Noah Fant of the offseason. I want some deep cuts here. I don't want to. Were you listening? Were you listening to Scott at all? No, because I was making sure all my stuff with you. What was he saying?
The first 3 like sleepers or risers in this week, he gave me 6 of them. The very first 3, no Jeff on the show. It was the Hefe kid out of Cincinnati, the wide receiver, Sam Roush.
Jeff Caldwell.
Yeah, Jeff Caldwell that Jeff and you and Jeff were talking about the whole weekend. Sam Roush, Jeff's guy, and then Dennis Allen out of Penn State, Jeff's guy. Like bang, bang, bang.
What is it? Danny. He doesn't pass the name. Danny Dennis Sutton.
Danny Dennis Sutton.
He doesn't
I said
pass the
Danny.
name test.
No, but I was like, those are all Jeff's guys, and he just missed out on it. All right, we got a mailbag here. Coach Walk said, "How is it possible for Lukas to be whiter than his hoodie?"
It's an off-white hoodie, not brand color-wise. I don't have the money like that. It's a cream. It's a beige. Unfortunately, genetics. We're very lacking in any. It ran from any type of melanin that could be in my skin. So in the winter I get transparent white. In the springtime I'll get like a second coat where I'll get like Booner white, and then in the summer I'll get a little tan. But that's for like 2 months, and I just burn. No tan comes with it.
I appreciate how your third darkest is me.
Your second darkest.
Second darkest. Okay, and that's me in the winter where I haven't seen sun in 6 months.
Like if I pull up my sleeve, I can see my veins. They're blue. I hate it. Can't do anything about it.
That's crazy.
And I'm terrified of tan. I whenever I get in a tanning bed, the what's that? Final Destination pops in my mind where the chick gets
I've never done a
skin cancer. It's just like, oh, not to mention, it just feels weird laying nude in like a 50 other people.
Go nude though.
You're gonna have a nasty tan line.
Yeah, but no one's ever gonna see like you without.
Who are you getting tanned for?
Well, you're getting tanned to walk around. Yeah, so you look tan for people to look at you.
But yeah, so you want.
I would think number one is publicly
attractive, right? You want to look attractive. Who do you want to look attractive for?
Yeah, but if it comes down to it, it's the same thing though. Like if I get tanned in the summertime, I'm not walking around the beach butt naked getting tan, being like, "Hey, I still got to get my tan underneath for the girls."
I'm gonna do a Jeff. You said now if it comes down to it. Now if it comes down to it, this is if it comes down to it. You're getting that tan, so a lady can find you attractive and get a little lucky. And when it comes down to it, now you got a wild tan line. You got a farmer's tan, and it's not even real. It's a fake tanning bed farmer's tan.
Oh, dude, come on, Klotz. I'm not worried about that.
Hey, but we both don't support tanning beds, so we can break bread.
I've never been in one. You know what I want to do? I want to do those red light things. You know what I mean? I heard those like
what those do though.
I don't know. I think it's something like with cancer and all these different things. I think Joe Rogan does one. Not Joe Rogan. Dana White does one like 30 minutes a day.
Probably both do then.
And it's supposed to help like longevity of life. Like if you do it 30 minutes a day, it's like red light. It like gives you like different types of energy and different types of vitamins.
I bet because they say like getting like 10 minutes of sunlight in the AM. Like it's really good for you, get your cells going.
Let me look this up. What is it called? It's what
red light therapy?
Does the red light therapy
Ask chat
do? Red light therapy or something uses low-level specific wavelengths to boost cellular energy, reducing inflammation, pain, and skin issues. It's primarily whatever that word is, used to reduce wrinkles, acne, scars, promote wound healing, stimulate hair growth, help from chronic pain from conditions like arthritis and fibromyalgia. So it's actually good, like to help from. Good
rule. I bet LeBron
keeps you looking young. Yeah, it keeps you looking young, and it helps with arthritis and stuff. Oh yeah, he has arthritis. That report came out.
LeBron.
Yeah, did you hear that? Did you know that?
He's cooked.
He missed a game this last year because of arthritis. Like that's.
I mean, how old is he?
40, maybe 42 or something like that.
I mean, credit to him.
Yeah, that's good. By the way, too, Klotz, the Pistons. I'm actually genuinely, and I hate to say this, like I'm actually worried about the Pistons. I don't think they can win. I'm starting to get the sense that they can't win at all.
I thought this was like one of our first conversations we got to Indy, and I thought we agreed on it. Like the Pistons.
Oh, I've said I've been saying they can win it all.
I will say for the chat's sake, I will say like I'm in touch with the Pistons, but I'm not to the level of ball knowledge of Boone coach in college. Jeff's been following the Pistons forever. Caleb in the chat. Die-hard guy, been following him forever. I stay in touch. From my perspective, at least, Like they give me the same feeling. I know the personnel is different, coach. They give me the same feeling as like the Knicks last year, where it's like there's. I don't see how you can look at the Pistons this year from an offensive standpoint. Defensively, like I think they have the defense that could win a championship.
Yeah,
but it's not Ben Wallace, Rasheed. Like they don't got those guys anymore. It's a different era of basketball. You got to score. There's a 3-point shot that's more important than anything at this point. They don't have that. Like they got Dunk, but. Like I think they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for sure. Maybe they make it out of there. Maybe they make it to the finals. But you go up against OKC or San Antonio.
I don't even know, dude. Like, so I was on the side of like I think defensively you can win a championship. I still think that's a thing, and I thought that's where they were.
You just got to be more balanced.
The last 2 weeks, 6-7. The last 2 weeks, dude, they've lost now. I mean, they're coming back a little bit with the Spurs are down 12, but they were down like 20. They lost to the Spurs the last time they played them. They've lost to the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell. Like it's like every time they play a good team, the last couple weeks, they've just fallen apart, dude.
They've had games though where they won without Cade, they won without Duren and Stu for games, and they were both suspended. Like I feel like it's just. Going to go up
such an up and down, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
it scares me. They have a chance, but it's going to be tough.
They're going to either pick it back to where they were, or at least level it off. They're going to be going into the playoffs as a top 3 seed in the East. They're going to. I do not see them as a team that gets bounced in the first round. I honestly think, again, can't tell who they're matching up with, but they seem like a team that's going to win in 5 to 6 in that first round. Yeah. Matchup like if they play Boston. That in the second round, like, all right, I'm a little bit more nervous for sure. But if they play New York, like New York is a great team, but the Pistons, like they have their number. If they played the Knicks in the second round, like I think they advance out of there. Orlando, like they run into Orlando. I don't like Pistons. I like them. The only team that I'm like, is the Cavs, who in the playoffs consistently just underwhelm. Oh, let's bring James Harden in, who underwhelms consistently in the playoffs. James Harden. So the Cavs can be there. It's a tough matchup, but I'm looking at the Celtics, Knicks.
By the way, Coach Walk said it in the chat. He said they need a secondary scorer. I've been saying this for like years. They need a number 2 star. Like they do. And everyone always told me a star was going to be that. Yeah, but like everyone told me, a star is going to be that guy, Jay Navi. And I've always been like, I don't think that's good. Like you have to go. They need to go out and get a dude. Like the Devin Booker stuff I thought was so real because like imagine you had Kate Cunningham and Devin Booker. And people were like, that sounds so crazy, the money. But like, yeah, but like that people like in the NBA, like teams do that. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. That's literally you have Kate Cunningham and Devin Booker.
They're always making moves.
Yeah. Like that's the move you have to make. And if you make that move, you're gonna win a championship. But until you do, like you're gonna be in absolute battles. And I think Devin Booker you add to this team or someone. I know people still think it's crazy town, but I like it though.
I mean, I just feel like he'd be in denial. Because if you look at the Celtics, you look at, I mean, I know they don't really add key guys, but they're always active. The Nuggets are always moving people around. I mean, the Lakers literally traded for Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks when they had LeBron there already.
Yeah.
So if you just break that down and there was guys like you can do anything in the NBA nowadays. It's just, again, I think being in the Eastern Conference, it allows GMs to not be like as aggressive where it's like, okay, we can develop here and we can win and we can make it out the East. And then if you make it out the East, you got a shot. I think with the West, it's a lot different just because you look San Antonio, OKC, Denver, the Lakers ever get it figured out. I would still hate to play them in a 7-game series with the players they have there. Like it's a different type of basketball that's being played in half the country.
Yeah, SGA, man.
I felt like I was Woj right there, Boone. I haven't talked NBA in I don't know how long. I don't know how long.
Woj, what a hey, by the way, I know you haven't talked
fluid.
You haven't talked NBA in a while when you say Woj instead of Shams now. Like
it's true. Or who's our boy, big boy?
Brian Windhorst.
Yes.
That's your guy. Yeah, you love yourself a little Brian Windhorst.
I do. I think he's a savant of the game. I respect him.
Yeah, he is good.
Wendy.
Oh man, he's the best. All right, Klotz. We got this. I'm tired. I've had the longest day of all time.
Chad disappointed with the mailbag too.
I know we had 2 mailbag questions. That was dude. I'm telling you, can we do better, chat? Like going forward, can we get some mailbag questions?
You gave me a Graham Glasgow big game performance. That's what the chat just did.
To be fair, with the mailbag, Jeff and I, we always do like we're new mailbag, and we always end up going over, and then we don't get into mailbag.
I'm I'm sorry, I zoned you out there. I am not going to let Caleb, of all people, say I look like Brian Windhorst. That is not going to.
Yeah, no. If we were doing comps, I would say Caleb.
I was just going to say Brian Windhorst giving me like Caleb vibe. I think they're both.
I would
funny.
give Klotz like Jay Billis.
Bald guy, right?
Yeah, tall, skinny.
I want to say that I know who you're talking about, but I got two guys in my mind. I don't know which one. I don't know either of their names.
Yeah.
I know the name for sure.
Yeah, no. Caleb is our Brian Windhorst.
Caleb does know basketball very well.
Yeah, no. Take that how you will, Caleb. I don't know which way you want to take that, but you're our Brian Windhorst.
Hey, pause.
I'm just saying.
Great job, man.
All right, Klotz. Hey, love you, brother. Appreciate you hopping on. I'm gonna go eat some dinner because I haven't eaten since lunchtime, since noon today. So
what you munching on?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go home, see what's going on. I haven't even thought about dinner, to be honest. I drove straight from work, an hour 15 minutes.
Stopping?
Right on here. I haven't thought about it. I need to get back. By the way, I need to get back on track. I lost a good amount of weight, and then the last 2 weeks, especially with Indy and stuff, I haven't gained anything back. But I'm teetering towards the.
Feel it. You can.
You're
feel
going the wrong direction again, Boone.
Yeah.
Got to get back on track. I got to get back working out again and getting back eating.
Think you have some Mediterranean food on the way home.
Mediterranean. Wow, a little rice, some chicken.
Get some Euro.
Oh, Euro. I did have
shawarma, some beef shawarma.
All right, well, that's where we're ending it there. That sound really just freaked me out. All right, love you guys. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow. 8:00 is normal time tomorrow. Peace. Love you all. Peace, love, happiness.